it's Alexa and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, I will be turning 21 tomorrow, which is on December 20th. It is really crazy to think that I'm 21 now and that I am officially a legal adult. And for a really fun video, I figured I would find 21 items from my childhood and share them all with you. If you are a 90s kid like me, then you may recognize some of these items. And if you do, make sure to let me know in the comments down below which ones you recognize or maybe even had when you were little. So let's just get started. The first item I have is my crib puff, and this is just a Beatrix Potter puff because my nursery theme was Beatrix Potter, which is also known as the tale of Peter Rabbit. I named this blanket Puffy, and I slept with Puffy up until I was probably 7. Now Puffy just lives on a shelf in my closet. The second item is a book that I got for my 2nd birthday, and it is called My Many Colored Days by Dr. Seuss. This isn't one of his most well-known ones, but out of all of his books, this one is definitely my favorite. I used to know it by heart. I don't as much anymore, but growing up, this was definitely a book my mom was constantly reading to me. And basically, this book is about matching your feelings with a color and an animal. For example, on purple days when you are sad, you groan and drag your tail and walk alone like a dinosaur. And then we have my doll. A bunch of you may recognize this. They do look a little different now, but this is actually one of the original Bitty Baby dolls from American Girl. She is still in her original outfit and everything. I got this for my 2nd Easter from my great-grandmother, and I actually have a picture right here from the day that I got Bitty Baby, and this is just me opening up Bitty Baby. And yes, when I was younger, I did have really curly blonde hair, but as I got older, it started to darken up on its own. As you guys can see from Bitty Baby's head, she was very well loved. The fourth item is probably one of my favorites, and I will never let my mom get rid of it, and that is my Little Mermaid clock. This used to sit on my nightstand when I was younger, and I used it as my alarm clock. I didn't know how to use it back then, so I would literally set it for random times, and it would end up going off in the middle of the night, and it basically just caused a big fiasco, so eventually my mom took out the batteries. I don't know what it is about this clock, but it is definitely one of the favorite items from my childhood that I still have. The fifth item are hair clips, and a bunch of you probably recognize these little plastic hair clips, as well as butterfly hair clips. I used to love putting these in my hair, and when I was a lot younger and didn't have much hair, my mom would put these little plastic ones in my hair. The sixth item is too big for me to show on camera, and it is the Fisher-Price Dream Dollhouse. I do still have it. It's up in the attic, so instead of bringing that down, I figured I would just show you guys the mom and dad from the doll set. And I actually have a picture of me opening up the doll set on my 3rd Christmas, and these are just what the people that came with it looked like. When I started preschool, I needed a lunchbox, and back then it was really cool to have the plastic Thermos lunchboxes, and I just had the Dr. Seuss one, and I used this probably up until like 2nd or 3rd grade, and then I got a different one because the clip on the top of this broke. Going along the same lines of eating, another thing I used to have a ton of were the Disney dinnerware sets. This one in particular is just 101 Dalmatians, and it just comes with a plate, a bowl, and a fork and a spoon. I also had a Bugs Life one, a Tweety Bird one, and a bunch of others. One of my favorite toys were definitely blocks, especially the little Tikes Waffle blocks. And basically they're just these weird looking blocks that you can put together and stack up on top of the container. These have actually been up at my camp, and I actually brought them home this summer for some reason. I don't even remember why, but I'm glad I did. This next item may be a little weird, and it is just this plastic Cinderela cup. There's really nothing special about it. You guys can't really tell, but this has about 1,000 cracks in it, and there is a hole in the bottom, and that just goes to show how much I used this. So this next item is one you're probably all gonna recognize, and it is a Furby. I tried to get him to work, but he is so corroded on the inside that it's just not gonna happen. I was always scared of my Furby, and this is actually a special edition Furby. It is the 1999 special edition Toys R Us Furby. It wasn't necessarily one of my favorite items from my childhood, but I figured I would still show it since they do still have these today, and it's an item almost anyone can recognize. As for sports, when I was younger, I did Saturday morning soccer and t-ball for a few years, but the sport I was really into was dance. I did tap, jazz, ballet, day, and I also did Irish step dancing class, and this is actually my first pair of Irish step dancing shoes. Normally they would have laces. My laces, however, disappeared. These shoes were always very slippery, and I think I only did Irish step dancing for a year or two. The next item is a headband from when I was in first grade, and I actually have the school picture from when I was wearing this headband, and it is just a purple headband with a bow and a flower. This came from a store called Heartstrings. My grandmother used to buy me a ton of different Heartstrings outfits, and I would always wear one of them on picture day. This one in particular was just a white turtleneck with purple flowers around the turtleneck part, and a purple corduroy dress and the matching headband. Another item a ton of you are probably going to recognize is this. This was my Game Boy Advance, and I got this from my grandfather for Christmas when I was in first grade, and the game that I would always play is Snood. I don't know if any of you guys remember that game, but it was always my favorite. I also had it for the computer. That's how much I loved it. It's crazy to look back and see this and then compare it to all the devices Nintendo has now. Another one of my favorite items from my childhood were some markers, and these are just what they look like. They are the Crayola big mini stampers. Basically, they are oversized stamping markers. This side has a balloon and a present, a glass of lemonade, and a hot dog. And I also had a blue one that had a star and a heart. And I'm not exactly sure why I still have these because they don't actually work anymore. But now Crayola just makes the regular sized markers in the stamped version. When I was younger, Pokemon cards were a huge thing. They are still a huge thing now, but when I was little, everyone had Pokemon cards, no matter what. And I had a ton of them. My grandfather used to get me them all the time. My two favorite cards in particular were Jigglypuff and Ghastly. If you guys had a favorite Pokemon card, let me know what it was down below. Something that I really miss are jelly jar cups. If you guys don't know what a jelly jar cup is, this is one of the ones from 2003, 2004. But basically, the jelly jars from Welch's could be used as cups when all the jelly was gone, and they all had really fun character prints on them. This one just has dragon tails, and like I said, this is one of the newer versions. When I was really little, the shape of these were a lot different. As for computer games, I was always a huge fan of the backyard sports games. This one in particular is backyard soccer. I also had backyard baseball, I think. I always really liked just making a team and getting to name them, creating their jerseys, and just playing the game. As I got older and got into 4th grade, 5th grade, I discovered makeup, as in chapsticks and nail polishes, and my favorite chapsticks of all times were the ones you could get around the holidays from Avon. No, I don't actually use these anymore because they are really old. I've had them since I was in like 4th grade. This one is in Lollipop, and it is obviously from Halloween. This one is just in mint and is from Christmas, and this one is in white chocolate and is also from Christmas. I don't know if Avon still has these holiday lip balms, but I used to have a ton of these. Another item that I was just starting out with in 4th and 5th grade were nail polishes, and these ones in particular, these are just the mini bonbons ones. I had a ton of these. I still do. I don't use them because they are all dried up, but I just think it's fun to have because they're something to look back on. These two shades were my favorite. This one is just a pink glittery one, and this one is just the matching purple glittery one. And the last item I have to show you guys is my first piano book. Yes, I used to take piano lessons. I took piano for probably 5 years, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but this was my level 1 piano book. I don't take lessons anymore, but every once in a while I do sit in front of the piano and just play it. So those are 21 items from my childhood. If you guys liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Like I said in the beginning, if you recognize any of these items or had any of them yourself, make sure to let me know what they were down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to be notified every Tuesday and Saturday when I upload new videos. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram if you aren't already to see what I do off camera. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys!